Hey guys, welcome back to our Minecraft Pocket Edition Survival Guide. This is episode 16. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to get a good amount of XP, and also I've been trying to get some blaze rods for my furnace and for my brewing stand. I have a sufficient amount right now, but sometimes you need a little more than usual. Since we're on the topic of getting XP, today's episode I wanted to make 2 useful farms, and those farms are going to be a gold farm, and the other farm I wanted to make for XP as well was a general mob farm. Reason why I want to make those farms is because a couple episodes before I said I wanted to make a gold farm. The gold farm that we're gonna make is gonna be super easy and simple, so it's gonna be very useful because we're gonna be using the gold for our piglin trading farm. The reason why I want to make a general mob farm as well is because we're also gonna be trying to spawn other mobs other than zombie and skeletons. There's been a couple of bugs regarding other farms that I wanted to make. Like for example, so I wanted to make a creeper farm because I just wanted to get nothing only but gunpowder, and the gunpowder was gonna be useful for me since there is this bug with making creeper farms that sometimes spiders will spawn instead of creepers. I just ended up coming to the conclusion that I would just rather make a general mob farm. General mob farms are also a good form of XP. Not only that, we're also going to be getting useful droppings from that farm. Before we get started making one of these farms, I am going to go ahead and make the gold farm because it's the easiest one. It's not only easier, it just takes up more or less resources, and it's going to be super simple. Luckily for me, I have set up both of my locations where I want my farms at, and I'll recommend building this over an ocean biome. Well, I'm doing this at 125 blocks up. I'm far enough that no mobs will spawn in the water or take up the mob cap. In Bedrock Edition, we do have mob caps on how much mobs we can spawn. If you're playing on the simulation distance 12, you do have to build a little more higher, but since I'm playing on simulation distance 4, I'm good enough that I won't take up any mob caps anywhere that I'm at. The way I'm going to start this farm is I'm going to make my Trident killer mechanism. And all you have to do is just place your first piston down, skip one block, place it like this, another one right here, another one like this. The pistons are going to be rotating into a circle, which is going to allow the Trident to be moving up and around in circles and killing our mobs automatically, basically. I'm going to go ahead and grab some observers and some power rails. You can use redstone. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to be using power rods because for some reason the power activates quicker and making our Trident killer faster. The reason why I removed that block is because I'm going to be putting an observer right here. And you're going to want your observer facing in just like this. And then from there you can go ahead and place your block back. And then we're going to place another block in front of this one just like this. We're going to remove that block. As you can see, it activates it. And then from there, we can go ahead and place our power rail. We're going to do the same thing over here. Observer, block, another one like that. And then my power rail. Now that we place our final track, our piston should be activated just like this. Now that we got our pistons activated, they're not going to turn off automatically unless we have a lever. I'm going to place my lever right under the piston, and I'm going to hit the lever, and all of them are going to stop. Now that we have that done, we are done with our little killing chamber. We can start covering this up. I'm going to cover up all the redstone. I don't want to mess up any redstone, and I don't want any other mobs to get out. Now we're going to be placing blocks around our chamber. Leave these 2 blocks open because we are going to be placing glass right here, and then we're going to be placing a slab under so our XP can flow through, and then so we can see if any of the piglins are there that are going to end up clogging it, and etc. Next part is we're going to make this wall, and we're going to go up 19 blocks. So I'm at 125. I'm going to count 19 blocks up until I reach 144. That's the height I want my piglins to drop from. And if I go any more higher than 144, my piglins are just going to die before they hit the ground. Now that I made it to 144, the next part is I'm going to raise these blocks by 1. Just like this. Maybe these as well. So I'm going to go out by 9 blocks. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And in this side, I'm gonna go out by 10. And the reason why is because I'm gonna make a 23 by 23 area. So this is 3 already, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I have a 23 block area. So the next part is I'm gonna raise this part up by one more, just like this. Now that I made another row on top, we're gonna go out by 7 blocks. So there's gonna be 1, 2, 3. I had no more blocks, so I need to get more blocks. Let's finish this up with 4 more. 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now that I placed those 7 blocks, we should have an 8 block row like this. Once you make a little 8 block platform, fill this whole entire thing up. Now that we have this whole platform filled out, I'm gonna go out by 1 right here, and then I'm gonna start making a little wall. I'm gonna make a barrier around this whole platform. And the reason why is because we're gonna be placing water, but we're not gonna be placing water just yet. So go ahead and place more blocks all around, just like this. Now that we place all the blocks all around, we should have a little 21 by 21 platform right here. Always gotta make sure you have the right amount of blocks. This next is we're gonna start making the portals. I recommend going up 3 blocks because we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be placing water, and then we're also gonna be placing other contraptions next to our portals. We're gonna make a 23 by 23 portal. The bigger the portal, the more chances of being able to spawn zombie piglins. Luckily for us, since we made that 23 platform area, we can start placing our obsidian until we reach the end of the other side. Repeat the process until we have a 23 by 23 portal. So since this is our first block, this is going to be 2, 3, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. We're going to repeat the same process on that side, and then we're going to connect it. So now that I finished that 23 by 23 portal, I'm going to test out to see if it works. And it should light up. As you can see, a zombified piglin fell on this side. If your portal doesn't turn on, that means you didn't build the portal right. But if you made your portal right, your portal should light up, and then once in a while a zombie piglin will fall in. And the reason why the zombie piglin fell on this side instead of this side, every time when a zombie piglin spawns through a portal, they always spawn through the positive side. If you want to make sure what's the positive side, look at the coordinates of your map. So as you can see, I'm going straight, and my top coordinates, I'm going up. And if I'm going back this way, my coordinates are going down. So meaning this is my negative side, and this is my positive side. Let's say if you have your portal facing a direction like this, look at your coordinates again, and as you can see, if your coordinates are going down, that means that's the negative side. If your coordinates go up, that's the positive side. So they always will spawn on the positive side. I should have mentioned that earlier, but I always forget that not a lot of people are gonna build the things the same way. So if you want to make the platform first, I would recommend you do that, and then figure out which side the zombie piglins are gonna spawn in. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna make another portal on this side. The reason why I want to make another portal because I want this farm to be really efficient. I just finished up setting up my other portal, and then I went ahead and put more blocks around to cover up the farm. Alright, so the next part we're gonna do is I'll recommend you put another block right here, and a solid block right here, and then we're gonna start putting our dispensers. And the reason why we're gonna put dispensers is because one is gonna contain water, and the other is gonna contain our flint and steel. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. And so right after we already do this, go ahead and place a lever right next to those dispensers. And there's going to be a big reason why we're going to have lever next to them. You can go ahead and place a bucket of water in the dispenser. Since I have flint and steel, I'm going to go ahead and place my flint and steel in here. Just for now, because I don't want to take up more inventory space. Right after you put your flint and steel and those buckets of water in those dispensers, we can grab some oak fence gates or signs, doesn't really matter. And we're going to go ahead and place one under here. Open that one up. Place another one right here, and another one right here. The reason why we're going to be putting oak fence gates or signs is because it's going to trap our water. And we're gonna want our water to be trapped so it won't flow down here. So it won't flow down to our other water system. If you want to see the water get trapped, go ahead and hit the lever and you're gonna see the water get trapped just like that. Believe it or not, we are almost done with the farm. The second to last part we're gonna do is we're gonna make our redstone contraption. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place glass just like this. Since I can't really see my glass, it shouldn't bother me because I'm used to this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place redstone dust on top. Go ahead and connect the redstone line towards the other one, and this redstone line is gonna help me see where I have my glass at. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for this side. Now that I placed my glass, we're gonna be doing the same thing what we did on the top, and we're gonna be placing more redstone dust going to the other dispenser. What we're gonna do is we're gonna place another piece of glass right here, or you can place it in the middle, it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna place one piece of glass right here, and then I'm gonna place a repeater, and then from there we're gonna go ahead and place another block right here. After you place that solid block, we are gonna place a sticky piston right next to that block. And make sure it's facing down, and then from that sticky piston place a redstone block just like this. Under this redstone block we're gonna place a temporary block right here, and then we're gonna place our piston, and make sure this piston is gonna be facing down, so we need this piston to face down just like this. And from there place your obsidian block, and it should be like that. So once you place that obsidian block, go ahead and place a redstone torch on the piston like this. You can see it's going to be activating the bottom ones, but we don't want that to be activated, so we're going to hit this lever again and it should turn it off. But first, before we do that, let's get rid of this block right here. After remove that temporary block, go ahead and place a lever right here, and then make sure it's off. Hit that lever to make sure it's off, and then from there we're gonna go ahead and place another redstone line just like this. Now what we did right now is we finally made a little redstone clock, and then if you want to see if the redstone clock works, go ahead and hit this lever and it should be going just like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off real quick. Make sure your water's flowing out perfectly just like that, and then just make sure that none of the redstone line on the back is turned on as well. But you can hit this one more time and your water should still be staying inside. Everything should be powered within this one lever now. So now that we hit this lever, our portals are going to be going on and off just like that. Now we have piglins spawned in. And now the final thing to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a water system so they can all funnel to one direction. So I'm going to go ahead and place ice blocks right here, because the reason why I'm going to place ice blocks is because when you break them, they turn into full water sources. So once we get this done, I'm going to show you the final thing that I'm going to do. Now that I have the whole entire flowing over here to one side, I'm going to go ahead and cover up this side with some glass. You don't have to do glass, but like I said, I like to see through the farm. I know this is high up in the air, but I am going to have some ideas on how I'm going to end up coming up here, because we do going to have to fill up the top dispensers with flint and steel, but we don't have to worry about that right now. So now the final thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and place another ice block right here and another one right here. I'm gonna go ahead and break it, and our water should be flowing in just like that. If it doesn't reach, don't worry, because we're also gonna finish that part as well. We're gonna do it to this side as well. Just do what I'm doing here and you should have your little problem figured out. We're gonna place signs right here. So before we place our water, we're gonna place 2 signs just like this, because signs also stop water from flowing, and so our piglins won't get stuck either. So now we can go ahead and break this block, place another one, and then just like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this side as well. Cover it up, cover that up, and then we are done with our contraption. Before I show you a demonstration how this farm works, the lever that I have up there, I'm gonna bring it down here because it does become repetitive having to go up and down so you can turn on two levers. And I know a lot of people don't want to be doing that, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I'm gonna do. To bring that lever down all the way to the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and place blocks just like this until we reach the very bottom. And since I already placed blocks almost going to my platform, we're gonna go ahead and remove the blocks in between just like this. So now that we got that done, we can start placing redstone torches just like that. And we're gonna place all these redstone torches until we reach the very top. This is what's gonna be powering our farm from the bottom. Now that we place that final torch, we can go ahead and break that lever. And now you can place this lever right here. Now I can finally show you a good demonstration how this farm is gonna work. Hopefully you guys have a good amount of tridents. So now we can go ahead and throw one trident in here. We can turn on this lever. And next, we can go ahead and hit this lever. It's gonna activate our little contraption on top. And now our piglins should be falling in here. Now that I showed you how this farm works, we are done with the gold farm. Hopefully this gold farm wasn't too technical for you guys to make. I tried to make it really super simple and easy for you guys to do. And like I said, everything that we're trying to do is going to be super easy for the mobile players. As we're limited to use our own two fingers, it is a little more difficult. Hopefully it wasn't too technical or too difficult for you to understand and make. Before I show you how to make this general mob farm, I'm going to make sure if I have enough sufficient items. And if not, I'm going to have to get more. So I'll be right back and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this general mob farm. So when making a general mob farm, the first thing that I did was I made the same Trident killer concept that I made for my gold farm. And we went ahead and did it on this side. But before I do anything else, I am also going to make my platform. Go ahead and make the Trident killer that we made earlier. And then add a little wall around it before we end up doing anything else. Now that you got that done, we are going to go up to 146 because that's 21 blocks up. We're going to do the same concept what we did with the gold farm, but first we're going to go up to 146 blocks. Now that I reach 146, place another block like that. Try to make a little square opening just like this. The next part is we're going to count 7 blocks out on each direction. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to end up doing this on all sides. Once you guys did all that, you should have an 18 by 18 platform. Next thing that you want to do is go to a corner and place 4 blocks just like this. You're going to want to do this on each corner. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to be placing blocks on the outside of our platform just like this. We're going to want to make it the same height that we made these 4 pillars. So once you already fill up that platform like this, next thing you want to do is we're going to start placing scaffolding. You're going to want to fill up this whole entire platform with scaffolding until you hit the end of this square from right here. Go ahead and fill this up, and then I'm going to show you the next step on what to do after you fill this whole entire thing with scaffolding. The reason why we're having scaffolding is because mobs can spawn in between the scaffolding and the floor that we have right there. If you're wondering how we're going to push these mobs to flow into our little chamber right here in the bottom, now what we can do next is we can place water, but I'm going to go ahead and put ice blocks because when you break the ice blocks, they turn into full water sources. It's not going to change anything other than it's just the ice block. So go ahead and place your water and make sure you fill everything up just like this. If you're having the same problem that the ice blocks don't want to turn into full water sources, I recommend using a bucket of water instead of this because I don't know why it's not working. Let me go ahead and replace this and put buckets of water, and then I'm gonna show you how this water system is gonna look like. Now that we got rid of a little situation and we placed our buckets of water, All of our water should be flowing to the middle, just like that. The next part, before we start making other more layers like this, go ahead and come to the middle and get rid of these blocks right here. Once you get rid of these blocks right here, your scaffolding shouldn't fall off and it should be staying in place just like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start filling up this whole entire thing with blocks. Once you're done filling up this whole entire thing, we're going to repeat the same process that we did right here with this whole entire platform. And we're going to do it for about 4 more times. We're going to be doing this process 4 more times because we want this farm to be really efficient and so we can get the most mobs out of all of them. And once we're done with that, I'm going to show you the final thing that we're going to do to consider this farm done. Go ahead and fill this up and repeat the process. After you're done doing all that, you should have something like this. All we did was just repeat the same process what we did on our first layer, and we did it for about 4 more times, so giving us about 5 layers of the same platform that we did in the beginning. In the last platform, instead of putting solid blocks, I'll recommend putting tinted glass, because the bottom layers that we made are gonna be considered cave spawns. So this top layer is gonna be considered more like a overworld spawn, basically allowing us to spawn more mobs in this farm. All we did was just had to copy this layer 4 times, and there's nothing really different about it. We did the water process and everything. One thing I also want to mention, when making this farm, I recommend setting your game mode to peaceful. Setting the game mode to peaceful is going to help you in the long run when it comes to making this farm, because a lot of mobs are going to end up spawning when you're done making this layer, especially doing this part that we're going to do right here. So that's why I recommend you guys set the game to peaceful, so you won't have to deal with any of the mobs falling down or any lag like that. Especially it's going to help out with the creepers, because if you're near the creepers and you're doing this, it is going to blow up the parts of your farm, and yeah, that's going to be a total mess, and you don't want to have to repeat them. You don't want to have to fix those parts over and over again. So the final thing that we're going to do is we're going to make our little drop chamber. And the reason why we're going to make the drop chamber with campfires is because we don't want any spiders to get stuck. When the spiders get stuck, that means it's going to take up all those mob caps. And this part is optional, but I'll recommend you guys to do this because we want this farm to be efficient and fast. I had to cover this up, but go ahead and place the campfires like this so you can know the outline of this drop chamber. Next, we can go ahead and try to cover up this part with blocks like this. After you place those blocks around the campfire, you should have something like this. And then the next part, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and place more blocks just like this. The reason why we're placing on blocks like this is because we're gonna have water flowing in here. And before we place our water, go ahead and place campfires like this. So now that we got that done, we should have something looking like this. Go ahead and place signs going in our campfires just like this. Now that I placed those signs, now you can break the ice or place your bucket of water. You're going to want to put it in every spot that I put right here. And from doing that, now our spiders should not be getting stuck. All of them should be falling down to our little killing chamber. We don't have to worry about any of the mob caps getting taken up, and then we can now kill them instantly. And now we can extend this down just like this. Before we extend this any more further, go ahead and place more signs right here. The reason why we're gonna have signs right here is because we're also gonna place water right here. The reason why we place those signs right there and this water is because whenever mobs fall from the very top of our platform, they will actually insta die before they hit the ground, and it's also going to be slowing down their fall. And from doing that, we can basically start just filling everything up with our campfires. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up with campfires, and then from there we should be done with this general mob farm. Now I can give you a demonstration how this farm is going to work. So all we have to do is just stand in our platform, throw our trident, hit it, hit that lever, and now all we have to do is just wait here. And instead, everything's gonna be collected on our hoppers, and everything should be good and all in well. We are done with this farm. And also, quick reminder: these farm ideas aren't mine. I'm also gonna link in the description where I got them from. So before we go on and end this episode, I wanted to mention about 1.19. I'm still gonna continue on the series even with the new update. What I've been hearing is the wild update is basically Clays and Cliffs Part 3. But we're still gonna be continuing on the series through 1.19. I'm just gonna update the title. I might make a little video about it and the things that they add, but I'm still thinking about it. With that being said, we're not at the end of our episode. I'm gonna go ahead and make a little item sorter. If you don't have to make an item sorter, all you can do is just place a chest. But I'm gonna make some item sorting right here, and then I should be done with this whole entire thing. Like I was saying, thank you guys for watching. My name's Animated Didi, and I catch you on the next one. Later, y'all.